Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to jump into our next topic, which is order of operations. So, there's a very specific order when we have a whole bunch of operations to do at once. There's a specific set order that we should do those things in. And that's a good thing because let's say there wasn't a set order or a set way to do things, then there would be multiple different correct answers, so to speak. But because we have this order, we can always make sure we do things correctly and therefore don't have to worry about, what's the real answer. There's multiple different answers here. So let's review the order of operations and what we do first. So the first thing we do is brackets. So if there's anything in brackets, no matter what operations are in the brackets, we do everything in brackets first. Now let's say there's multiple operations within the brackets, then we move on to, what's next on the totem pole for those brackets. Do everything in the brackets in that order, and then do everything outside the brackets in the order. The next one is exponent. So if you see anything like squared, cubed, to the power of 4, to the power of anything, that's what comes next. After that is division and multiplication. I'm going to put this as 3/4 because division and multiplication, we just do those in the order that we see them in. And then the next one is addition and subtraction, and those are going to be 5 and 6, where same kind of thing. We're just going to do them the order that we see them in. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and move into it. Here they've given us an example where they say evaluate 4 times -3 divided by -2 plus -5 squared. So there's some negative numbers in our brackets, but there's no actual operations in the brackets, right? There's no 3 plus 5 inside brackets that we should evaluate to be 8 or something like that. So in this case, we'll actually start with the second one, which is exponents. So on the first step, all we've done is exponents. All they did was they said -5 squared is positive 25, and that's it for the very first line because that's what they did. They did exponents. Then they did multiplication, which means they took the 4 times -3 and made it -12. Then they did the division after that. So they said, because multiplication division, remember, it's 3/4, so it's just the order it comes in. So they did multiplication first because it was what was expressed first here. Then they did division. They said, what's -12 divided by -2? Well, that's 6, right? So they did division. And then lastly, they did addition and subtraction. There wasn't any subtraction here, only addition. So they added 6 plus 25 and they got 31. And that's their answer. Now, this may seem confusing at first or be challenging at first, but we'll do some examples simpler than this and we'll work our way up to getting to examples like this. Because at the end of the day, part of the curriculum is to be able to do examples as hard as this or even a little bit harder for this course. But we'll start with some easier ones, we'll work our way up, and then it won't seem as challenging. Okay, so let's start with A. Well, what are the two operations we have here? We have subtraction and we have division. And when it comes to BEDMAS, division comes first. Division is in step 3 or 4, whereas addition subtraction are 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. So that means we'll do division first. So what is 10 divided by 5? That's going to be 2. So we're going to have 14 minus 2 because we applied this operation and we did 10 divided by 5 first. Now, what is 14 minus 2? 14 minus 2 is 12. So the answer is 12. So there we have it. Okay, let's do B. So B, let's see, do we have any brackets in BEDMAS? No, we don't, so we can skip that step. Do we have any exponents? Yes, we do. We have 2 squared. So that's the first thing we'll do is we'll evaluate 2 squared and say that that's 4. All right, do we have any division or multiplication? Yes, we do. We have multiplication of 5 times 6. So we'll evaluate that to be 30. And then do we have any addition or subtraction? Yes, we do. 4 plus 30 is 34. So what is this all about? It's all about going through the list of, okay, do we have brackets? And if we do, we carry them through. Then if we have any exponents, same thing, we carry them through. If we have any division, multiplication, then carry it through. Then do we have any addition, subtraction, carry it through. So those are kind of the four main steps. Okay, let's do letter C. Okay, letter C is 12 times 5 minus 6. So are there any brackets here? No, there's not. Are there any exponents? No, there's not. Is there any division or multiplication? Oh, well, yes, there is. Yes, there is. There's 12 times 5, and 12 times 5 is equal to 60. So we're going to replace the 12 times 5 with 60. Now, all we have left is subtraction, so we can subtract and just say 60 minus 6 is 54 and be done with it. All right, let's do example D. Are there any brackets? Well, yes, there are. There's two sets of brackets, so we'll evaluate what's in both sets of brackets. So the first bracket, it says 5 minus 7. 5 minus 7 is negative 2. And then what's in the second set of brackets? 3 minus 4. So that is negative 1. Good. Okay, then here we have, do we have any multiplication or division? No, we don't. Do we have any addition and subtraction? Yes, we do. We have some subtraction here. So we have negative 2 minus negative 1, which is the same as minus 2 plus 1, right? If we have two negatives, they make a positive when we add them, or when they're, when they're like this. And so negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1, and that's our overall answer there. Good. All right, let's do E. In E, are there any brackets? Well, yes, there are, but there's not actually any operations in the brackets, right? Over here we had 4 minus 3, 3 minus 4, and the other numbers 5 minus 7. Here the brackets are just indicated to say we're going to multiply these together. So we can actually skip that and say, no, there are no brackets. Okay. Well, there's not an operation that we need to do within any of the brackets, so we can skip that part. Okay, next one is any exponents, and no, there is not. Okay, is there any multiplication or division? Yes, there is. There's some of both, so we'll do both. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. And then 12 divided by 3 is 4. So it's negative 15 plus 4. Then last but not least, is there any addition or subtraction? And yes, there is. Negative 15 plus 4 gives us negative 11. And so there's our final answer there. Okay, let's move on to F. Are there any brackets? Well, there's no operations within the brackets, so we can skip that, so no. Are there any exponents? Yes. 4 squared is an exponent, so we're going to, in the next line, we're going to solve 4 squared and say it's plus 16. Now, is there any multiplication or division? Yes, there is. There's 2 times negative 7, which is negative 14. Now, is there any addition or subtraction? Yes, there is. There's both. So we just do it in the order it comes in. So 3 minus 14 is negative 11. So now we have a negative 11 plus 16, which is 5. And so 5 is our final answer there. Very good. Okay, let's move on to G. First question, are there any operations in our brackets we need to solve? No. Are there any exponents? Also no. Is there any multiplication or division? Yes, there is. There's both, so we'll just do them in the order they come in. So then negative 5 plus negative 6 divide by 6, right? Because 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Then we have negative 5 plus negative 1, like that. And then we have negative 6. And there we have it. All right. All right, let's move on to H. Negative 7 plus what's in the brackets? minus 2. So in this case, do we have any brackets? Yes, we do. We have an operation in these square brackets that we need to solve before doing anything else. So this would be negative 7 plus, and then what's in the brackets? Well, it says in the brackets negative 1 plus negative 3. That's the same as negative 1 minus 3, right? That's the same thing as negative 1 minus 3, and then minus 2 out here. Now we still have brackets we need to solve, so let's continue to solve the brackets until the brackets are gone. So negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. So this will be negative 7 minus 4 minus 2. Okay, do we have any exponents? No, we don't. Do we have any multiplication or division? No, we don't. Do we have any addition and subtraction? Yes, we do. We have some subtraction. So we have negative 7 minus 4 minus 2, which, well, let's see. Negative 7 minus 4 is minus 11, and minus another 2 would be negative 13. So our final answer is negative 13. Very good. Okay, let's do I. Are there any brackets? No. Are there any exponents? No. Is there any multiplication or division? Yes, there's 24 divided by 3, which is what? That's, I think, 8, is it? Yes, it's 8. So we have 6 minus 8 plus 1, and we don't have any other multiplication or division, just addition and subtraction now. So we just do it in the order it comes. So 6 minus 8 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 1 is just negative 1. And there we have it. Okay. Then we have J. So first question, are there any brackets? Yes, there are. 9 minus 11 is inside brackets, so that's going to end up being minus 2. The other brackets don't have anything we can actually solve. They're just there to indicate we need to multiply, so we can skip those for now. Next question, are there any exponents? Yes, there are. Negative 2 squared, well, the squared is an exponent, so negative 2 squared is 4. Good. Now, is there any multiplication or division? Well, yes, there's multiplication. There's 4 times negative 1, which is negative 4. Now, is there any addition or subtraction? Yes. 4 minus negative 4 is the same as 4 plus 4, which is 8. So the final answer for this is 8. Very good. Okay. Are there any brackets? Well, there's no operations in the brackets we need to do, so no. Are there any exponents? No. Is there any multiplication or division? Yes, there's both. There's negative 4 times 6, which is negative 24, divide by 12, and we still have division left to do. Negative 24 divided by 12 is negative 2, and that's just the answer at that point. There's no addition or subtraction in this at all, so we can skip that part. Good. All right. Now we have, let's see. Now we have L. Okay, let's try this next one, L. So 36 divided by negative 9 would be the first thing, because, do we have brackets? No, other than to indicate we're multiplying later. Do we have exponents? No. Do we have division or multiplication? Yes, we have division first because it comes first in the, just from left to right. So 36 divided by 9 is, or by negative 9 is going to be negative 4. That's going to be multiplied by 2, and that's going to give us negative 8. And then we can stop there as we don't have any other operations to do, no addition and no subtraction. Good. Okay, let's do this next one here. Are there any brackets? Well, no, other than to, indicate negative values or things like that, but no operations in our brackets. Do we have any exponents? No. Do we have any multiplication or division? Yes. Yes, we do. We have -8 divided by -4, which is going to be +2. Then do we have any addition or subtraction? Yes, we have 11 plus 2, which is 13. And there we have it. Good. All right, let's go with n. N says um, -20 divided by 4 times 3 plus 2. So are there any brackets? Well, no, no operations in our brackets we need to take care of. Are there any exponents? No. Is there any multiplication or division? Well, yes, there's both. So we just do it from left to right. So -20 divided by 4 is -5. And we still have multiplication after doing that, so let's do the multiplication next. We get -15 plus 2. And now all our multiplication and division is done. Now, is there any addition or subtraction? Yes, we have -15 plus 2, which is -13. Very good. Okay, let's do letter O. Are there any brackets? Yes, 7 minus 3 is an operation that's in brackets, so we do it first. Even though it's subtraction, it's in brackets, so we do it first. So 7 minus 3 is 4. Are there any exponents? No. Is there any multiplication or division? Yes, 5 times -2 is multiplication. Now, is there any addition or subtraction? Well, yes, we have 4 plus -10, which is the same as 4 minus 10, which is -6, and so -6 is the final answer. Very good. Okay, awesome. Now here we have some other ones where we can use the order of operations to solve these. These ones are slightly more challenging, and so I am going to do them today as well. Okay, so let's do 5a first. It says 100 times 3 squared. So first I'll just repeat the question. There we go. So are there any brackets? No. Are there any exponents? Yes, 3 squared is an exponent, so let's evaluate that. Is there any multiplication or division? Yes, 100 times 9 is multiplication, so 900. And then that's it. There's no addition or subtraction, it doesn't look like. Okay, let's do B, which says 6 squared plus 4 squared. So are there any brackets? No. Are there any exponents? Yes, there's 6 squared, which is 36, and 4 squared, which is 16. Is there any multiplication or division? No, there is not. Is there any addition or subtraction? Yes, yes, there is. So we add these two together and we get 52. Okay, now let's do C, which looks very similar, but this is actually a different problem here. This is 6 plus 4 in brackets squared, whereas before we had 6 squared plus 4 squared. So are there any brackets? Yes, there are. So we'll do that operation first. We're going to add 6 and 10, 6 and 4, not 6 and 10. We're going to add 6 and 4 to get 10. And there we go. And then no more brackets. Brackets are gone. Are there any exponents? Yes, we have 10 squared, so that's 100. And we can just stop there because we just got the answer right from that. There's no addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, so we're done. Okay, let's do D. D says root 13 squared minus 5 squared. Okay, so are there any brackets? No. Are there any exponents? Yes, we have 13 squared, which is 169, minus 5 squared, which is 25. Now, is there any multiplication or division? No. Is there any addition and subtraction? Yes, yes, there is. So let's go ahead and do that. We get root of 144, and root of 144 is 12. And there's something I want to clarify here about the square root sign, because the square root sign is the same as the power of 1/2. So in a way, wouldn't the square root sign be considered an exponent? And so shouldn't we do it at the same time as other exponents? Now, no, and here's why. The square root sign goes over everything, so we must evaluate the number inside the square root sign before we apply the square root sign. So the square root sign is kind of like, oh, here's the brackets. We need to solve for what's inside first, what's inside the brackets first, right? What's inside here first, find out the number this is, and then square root the whole thing. We can't square root part of it and not the other part. Just as over here with our previous example with C, we had to figure out what was inside the brackets first, what was inside what we were going to square first, and then square it, right? And so that's the reason is we did everything inside the square root sign first, and then once we got a value for it, then we used the square root to evaluate. And so that's the reason. That's the reason. Okay, let's do E, which says the square root of 13 squared minus the square root of 5 squared. Well, let's see. Are there any brackets? No. Are there any exponents? Yes, there's the square root of 13 squared, which that is actually just going to end up being 13, right? Because we're going to square it and get 169 and then square root it again back to 13. And same with 5, right? Similar logic can be applied to 5. Now, is there any multiplication or division? No, there isn't. Is there any addition or subtraction? Yes. We get 13 minus 5, which is 7. And there we go. All right, let's do F. And, we'll do, actually, we have time to do the rest of them. Let's do all of them. F, we have 8 plus 5 times 4 minus 1 cubed. So are there any brackets? Yes, 4 minus 1 is in brackets, so let's evaluate that. Are there any exponents? Yes, 3 cubed is an exponent. So that's 27. Is there any multiplication? Yes, 5 times 27 counts as multiplication. That's 135. 8 plus 135 is 143. And there we have it. Okay, let's do G. G says 7 minus 2 squared, 3 plus 5 squared. Okay, so are there any brackets? Yes, there are. Yes, there are. So the second brackets are pretty simple. We can just evaluate it and say that this is the same as 8 squared. For the first brackets, though, there's 2 operations within those brackets. So within the first brackets, are there any other brackets? No. Within those first brackets, are there any exponents? Yes. So let's do the exponent first within the brackets. Then are there any within those first brackets? Is there any multiplication, division? No, not within the brackets. Is there any addition or subtraction? Yes. So 3. Okay, so now we've solved both brackets down. And so now we're done with brackets. We can move on to exponents in our just overall equation. So are there any exponents? Yes, we have 8 squared, which is 64. Is there any multiplication or division? Yes, there is multiplication, 64 times 3, which is 192. And there we have it. That's all. Now we have H, which says 5.2 squared minus 4.2 squared. So are there any brackets? No. Are there any exponents? Yes. 5.2 squared is an exponent. And if we multiply that in a calculator, we'll get 27.04. Same with 4.2 squared. That's 17.64. Good. Okay. And then is there any multiplication or division? No. Is there any addition or subtraction? Yes, there is. And if we subtract here, we get 9.4, and that's our answer. Okay, I is similar, but I'm going to go through it anyway. I is 2.9 minus 5.6 squared. So are there any brackets? No. Are there any exponents? Yes, we have 5.6 squared. So that's going to be 31.36, which is good. Is there any multiplication or division? No. And is there any addition and subtraction? Yes. Which is going to be 2.9 minus 31.36. And if we plug that into our calculator, we're going to get 28.46. Very good. All right, let's do letter J. Okay. So here we have 21 minus 12 divided by 3 squared. So are there any brackets? Yes, 21 divided by 12 is in brackets. And if we evaluate that, we get 9. Are there any exponents? Yes, 3 squared is an exponent, so we do that next. Okay, now do we have any multiplication or division? Yes, we have 9 divided by 9, which is 1. And so that's our answer. We don't have any multiplication or any more division or any addition or subtraction, so we're just done. Okay, the next one is K, which K is 1.2 squared divided by 0.2 cubed. So are there any brackets here? No. Are there any exponents? Yes. We have 2 exponents, 1.2 squared, which if we plug that in our calculator, we get 1.44. And then 0.2 cubed is 0.008. Now, do we have any multiplication or division? Yes, we have 1.44 divided by 0.008, which if we plug that in our calculator, we get 180. So 180 is our final answer, as we don't have any addition or subtraction or anything like that to do after. All right, well, we're on to L, which is our last one. Okay. So L, do we have room for it? Oh, we could do it on another page, actually. There's only one more. 4 plus root 11 plus 2 plus 3 squared. Okay. I definitely don't want to skip this one, though, because this one, it's a harder one. So first of all, are there any brackets? Yes. Yes. In fact, there's kind of 2 sets of brackets in the sense of that what's under the square root could also be considered in brackets because we're square rooting that whole thing, not just one number. And so, so yeah, there's 2 sets of brackets. Let's first start with the most inner set of brackets, though, which is the 2. What's the 2 plus 3? Because those brackets are within that square root. They're just a part of the square root. So we start with those. So we have 11 plus 5 squared. Okay, now within the square root sign, let's continue. Within the square root sign, do we have any exponents? Yes. We have 5 squared, which is 25. Now within the square root, do we have any multiplication or division? No. Within the square root, do we have addition or subtraction? Yes, we do. Okay. And now we've solved for what's under the square root sign. So now we can apply that exponent finally, or that square root, which the square root we treat as brackets with an exponent of a half, right? Because it's essentially the same thing. Okay, so what's the root of 36? That's going to be 6, so we evaluate that next. And now do we have, back to multiplication and division, do we have multiplication or division just overall in the equation? No, we don't. Do we have any addition or subtraction? Yes, we do. So we get 10, and that's our answer. All right, well, that is it for today with order of operations. Definitely do lots of practicing on this because this is not just a standalone topic. This is a topic that'll come up in the future, and so I did want to take extra time to spend on it. I know we spent over half an hour just going over these problems and going through the steps. But the reason I did that is because this is an important topic that will show up not just in the future in this course, but in every course you ever take in math, whether you're taking math grade 11 and 12 and 10 as well, or if you're doing math at the university level, this stuff always comes back, right? At some point, you'll get to a point where you don't have to think of it anymore. You'll just kind of know instinctually what you do first and what you solve for last, that kind of thing. But for now, going through those steps is going to be key for the time being in order to ensure that you don't accidentally solve things in an incorrect order. But good work today, everyone, and we'll see you for the next day. Bye, everyone.